are now watching The Leaping Lemur.
Hey guys, I want to talk about the forum real quick. So when I was in grade school, I started forums like Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence. I had a website that was myowname.com. I had Hybrid Eye. I even had one called Evo Psyche, which is like the evolution of one's psychology. I've always been a little bit pompous, just a dash of pompousness. Regardless, I started these forums because it's just something that I have always felt is very convenient to talk to other people and have a social life without leaving my house.
Well, folks, here we go. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the OG YouTube diddlers, Onision. Now, it's been a while since Onision has been on YouTube, but he has been here and there on Instagram and TikTok, making accounts, getting banned, making accounts again. You know how it is. About 2 months ago, though, he was on YouTube with like this whole redemption arc series where he was trying to prove that he was innocent. Nothing ended up coming out of that, and people obviously still don't believe he's innocent. And that doesn't stop this dude from trying time and time again to gain some kind of audience on the internet. He's chasing that fame once again, you know, that washed up YouTuber fame. Now, I know that a few people watching this are probably out of the loop because not everybody was around when Onision was popular, and you might not know who this dude is. Onision was popular because he'd make like parody music and skits similar to people like Shane Dawson, but he also had this whole thing where he would rate people's bodies. He started this online forum that had like no jurisdiction at all. Basically anybody could post, and a lot of the people that were posting were minors. That's not the only creepy thing he would do though. Him and his wife Lainey would also recruit these young women, these vulnerable women. They would adopt them, and then eventually they would do things to them once they were of age, or sometimes when they were close to being of age. It's pretty fucking disgusting. I mean, there's a whole Discovery documentary series on him. Chris Hansen has investigated him. Like, this guy has been around. If you want to know more about him, just look up Onision and you'll see a bunch of crazy shit come up. If you read the title of this video, you probably already know what's up. Onision has started his forum once again. It's pretty fucking sad. I went on it just to see if there was any restrictions on it. It's basically the equivalent of what PH does, you know what I mean? PH.com, where they're just like, are you 18? Yes or no? That's basically what he does. It's just like a quick yes or no verification. There's no real verification at all. And considering what Onision has done in the past, that's pretty fucking concerning. Onision is also very frequent in this forum, and when I say very frequent, I mean this dude replies to each and every fucking comment that somebody makes, because there's not a lot of people on that forum. Because, you know, at this point, Onision is a fucking washed up YouTuber. Nobody knows who he is. But I mean, there's still a considerable amount of people, and this dude just spends his whole day replying to these motherfuckers on the forum, and most of them are females, right? And he has fucking 2 kids and he's married. You also got to take Onision's age into consideration. Homie is 39 years old. He's almost 40 and he's still pulling this dumb shit. I mean, it was pathetic when it was like a 25-year-old doing it, but now it's even more pathetic when it's a fucking 40-year-old man yearning for his audience's attention. I'm sure if I did some deep digging, I'd probably find some pretty weirdo shit on that forum, but honestly, I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to subject myself to that bullshit. I already know that there's probably some weirdo shit. When you load up the site, you're greeted with like anime titties in your face. Like, the whole thing just gives off creeper vibes. It gives off the vibes of a website you don't want to be on. But not only is he back on this forum, apparently he's just back to posting on YouTube. He's posted like 5 videos in the past week, and you know, he's being pretty consistent with it. It seems like he's just gonna start uploading again and acting like nothing happened. Here's the video where he announces his forums are back open, and every time Onision makes a video, he has this same creeper vibe. It's like you walked in on your creepy uncle, like, you know what I mean? Your mom or your dad told you to go look for him, and then you walk into the basement and he's just there, like looking off in the distance at something else, monologuing to himself, you know what I mean? And you don't even want to fuck with him because you don't know what his next reaction will be. He could freak the fuck out on you. You don't know.
Hey guys, I want to talk about the forum real quick. So when I was in grade school, I started forums like Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence. I had a website that was myowname.com. I had Hybrid Eye. I even had one called Evo Psyche, which is like the evolution of one's psychology. I've always been a little bit pompous, just a dash of pompousness. Regardless, I started these forums because it's just something that I have always felt is very convenient to talk to other people. It's not like YouTube, etc., where people can just bully, harass, be horrible, and then continue to exist on the site. It's fucking bullshit. It's like real serious. People die regarding mental health issues. When you allow people to go around and just be horrible to each other, specifically, when someone posts a video and it's a harmless video and someone leaves a comment below that says, oh, I hope you, cease to exist in a fire or something, like, it's just like not on my side. So I've disabled comments on my videos for a good range of reasons. One of the most popular ones being that nobody seems to know what they're talking about anymore. So I just wanted to basically explain why I yet again started another forum, because I have probably run 40 forums in my life. So many. It's ridiculous how many forums I have run. And I've had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of members over the last few decades. It's pretty cool. The current forum is very unpopular in the sense that it only has 100 members because I just started it. Anyway, if y'all want to join, gotta be adults only, appropriate topics only. And that means also no politics.
I find it funny that this dude just flat out says the reason why he's starting up a new forum is because everybody on YouTube fucking hates him. Like, nobody wants to deal with his ass. Every time he makes a video, he has to turn comments off. So he needs to create a forum where it's basically his safe space, you know what I mean? He has to create a little echo chamber. It's pretty fucking pathetic. I don't know how he didn't watch that back and cringe himself. Anybody would cringe at that, right? Bro just can't deal with the fact that people are criticizing him and they don't like him anymore on YouTube. So now he needs to create a space where people are going to be all over him, acting like they're his fans just so they can get close to him. I'm sure half those people don't even fuck with Onision. They're probably just there to tag along because he's basically a lolcow now. He's basically got people buddy trolling him at this point. It's like nobody truly cares about him. They don't really care about his content. They're just there to watch him fail. They're there to be along for the ride. And then at the end, he tries to say that it's all 18 plus and you can't make certain posts, even though when you open the site, you're greeted with like anime titties. So obviously he doesn't care about sexual content. He makes that pretty clear. It seems like the only thing this guy truly cares about is politics. He just doesn't want anybody to mention politics because he already knows it's going to make a huge fight, right? And he wants this to be a safe space where everybody agrees with him no matter what. Anyway, you're probably wondering how I figured all this out. Well, today I was scrolling through TikTok and I stumbled upon this dude's live stream, and it was an account titled www.onision.com. And on this live stream, he was in the woods. He was talking about a bunch of crazy shit, and I already knew it was going to be good, so I decided to screen record it so we can watch it in today's video. Now, already right off the bat, it's pretty fucking weird that this dude is in the woods considering his history, but besides all that, he also takes the time to read chat, like really focus on it. You would think that this dude would not be paying attention to chat considering that they probably all dislike him. So he's basically sitting there trying to defend himself from hate comments the whole time, while people bombard him with facts and logic, and he's sitting there not really able to defend himself. The only thing that he can say is that Chris Hansen kind of fucked up the investigation and that Chris Hansen is no longer looking into him anymore. But I mean, this dude has a whole fucking Discovery documentary on him, talking about all the weird shit that he did on the internet. So did he really win in the end? I have no idea about what happened between Onision and Chris Hansen towards the end, but Onision did say that Chris Hansen said under oath that he's not pursuing Onision anymore. That seems to be something that he's stuck on the whole time. So I got a pretty good amount of this live stream. Let's just start off at the beginning and then we'll go from there. I also have another live stream where he actually went inside the house. The connection is a little better. You'll notice some buffering throughout here. I'll try to do my best to cut it out. But yeah, he was literally in the woods. He said he had one bar. So there were times when it got pretty glitchy, but the times where it wasn't, he said some pretty fucking crazy shit. So I think it's worth looking at.
The people who are saying, give me your opinion on me, apparently that's just a thing that everyone does on TikTok. But when I did it a decade ago, ooh, end of the world, when I give my opinion on people. Let this man be cozy in the Shire. You're funny. Do the worm, not out here. That's poison ivy? Oh no. Someone says I'm actually interested, like from a psychological perspective. What's so interesting? Oh my gosh, I watched something. What happened to your teeth? I ate nothing but butter for 30 years. I go live sometimes. I think I'm gonna go live more. You guys just like me so much, You got stuck again. Sorry, my signal's bad. I don't know what the dealio is. One says 1 bar. Someone said I'm a ladybug. That's an OG reference. If you're watching, please click follow. I would do the prayer thing, but I only have one hand. Beetle bopo do. Guys, I'm crossing the ocean on a sailboat. I'm not. Sound effects are dope. Remember that time you... No, oh my god. Hey, don't even bring that up. That was like 15 million years ago. Do you regret your time on the internet? I wouldn't be married without my time on the internet, so it's hard to regret that because I'm like a father and stuff, you know? I am a father of 2, and you can't regret them because being a father is very important. Remember I made that song with Richie? Yes, I do remember that song. That's a song I regret because I didn't realize, well, be careful who you invite into your life. That's all I'm saying.
God damn, this dude is so fucking cringe. He reminds me of Paul Breach, like the awkward silence, the fan interactions, the fact that he's trying so hard to avoid all the hate comments and pick out the good ones to respond to. It's insane, bro. He's just like Paul Breach. And then he'll make these sly little remarks and try to downplay what he did in the past. He tries to say that all he did was give his opinion on other people, when in reality those people were minors and he wasn't just giving his opinion on them, he was giving his opinion on their body. He's a fucking sick guy, man. But he'll try to downplay that shit in hopes that the people watching don't really know much about his past and will just continue watching because they remember him as the I'm a banana guy or the guy that once worked with Seer. Like, he's still uploading these old sketches that he did with Seer when I'm pretty sure they're not even friends anymore. I'm 100% sure that Seer would not approve of Onision using his likeness in videos and reposting them on TikTok. And I don't even watch Seer. I'm just saying this based on the people that I've seen him hang around with. You know, it's a lot of members of OTK, legit streamers that wouldn't like that publicity. And I know for a fact he's not friends with Onision anymore. So at this point, Onision is just posting those videos to hold on to some kind of relevancy. He's doing the same thing in his live streams. He's trying his hardest to find people who don't know him as a creep, but just remember him as like that nostalgic YouTuber they once watched. And the thing about it too is that comedy doesn't really work anymore. You know, he's trying to be all quirky and shit. He's trying to like put leaves on himself and he's making these funny little noises and he's saying these random derp comments, you know what I mean? He's trying to be a derpy millennial and it's like nobody gives a fuck about that shit anymore. Nobody watches that shit. Nobody wants to see you dress up in a banana suit and dance around and sing about it, right? You're not gonna get any views doing that shit anymore. The whole thing comes off as cringy when you realize how serious he truly takes himself.
I mean, my account, you know, it's here today, gone tomorrow, but it's a good chance. Or check out the forum. The forum has a better chance of surviving. Someone said, how do we apologize at all? That's the funny thing is, like, it's really silly to apologize for things you didn't do. Someone says, why laying down? Because I'm holding the phones up to get a better signal. Hello. Someone said, how do you still have a platform? Well, not for long. I'll probably disappear, you know. Someone said, so like what happened? What happened was I told the truth and everybody else didn't tell the truth, and that's what happens. And nobody believed me, but reality speaks for itself. Someone said, nah, take accountability. Every claim is an admission. Is there something you need to take accountability for? Someone said, he's asking people to be rude, like he's ever been nice to a human being. That's funny. You clearly watched all my videos where I'm being nice to numerous people. Like, remember that time I gave my mom a house? I wasn't very nice to me, was it? Giving her a house. That's what's crazy is, like, you have people who are very unpleasant and they will say other people are unpleasant because they're trying to compensate for their own unpleasantness. Someone said, no, it was good to get her love after all these years. Actually, the opposite happened. I think I had the love before the house and then after it just got weird. Would you consider making and by the way, talk about ungrateful. Can you imagine having that position? Someone gives a house and you try to put a negative spin on it. Like, literally enjoy the house. Would you consider making a series on psychology of being viral to not? Oh, you mean like a has-been? The irony of doing something like that is no one would watch it because you're a has-been.
And one thing you'll notice is that this guy can't stop complaining about his accounts getting taken down on TikTok. He's always crying about it. He's trying to get people to follow because he's saying that he could be gone tomorrow. It seems like this guy is trying to get a collection of people to rally behind him so he doesn't get banned. You know what I mean? Whenever anybody gets banned from a platform, they'll try to play victim and get people to come to their side. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't think it's going to work in Onision's case considering he's a diddler. It seems like people are just treating him like a lolcow. The only people that are joining are people that are making fun of him. There's a few good comments here and there and he's trying to snipe them as much as he can, but most of the time these comments aren't frequent, so he has to interact with the negative comments and then he'll go on some outburst about how he's not in the wrong and everybody else has been brainwashed. And then this dude has the audacity to say that it's weird to apologize for something you never did, when there's video footage of him doing this shit, when there's text proof, when there's testimonials from these women, first-hand accounts. And he's just gonna downplay that and say that it's all fake because he knows some of these people are just gonna take his word at face value because he's a YouTuber. They're just gonna believe him because of nostalgia. And then bro's back at it again doing weird ass quirky shit. He's sticking out his tongue at the camera, trying to act like some kind of millennial with the dog filter on. It's fucking cringe, dude. You're 40 years old. Get a grip. You're laying out in the forest, sticking your tongue out on TikTok live for like 60 viewers, trying to suckle at whatever remaining clout you have. It's pathetic. Then this dude says the most stupidest shit I've ever heard. He says every claim is an admission. I've never heard that said before in my life. That's just not true. It's like you're saying everybody who's ever critiqued you for being a weird diddler is also a diddler just because they told you that you're a diddler. Like, bro, it's just a fact. They're just criticizing you because you're a fucking weirdo. That doesn't make them a diddler. That makes no sense. I mean, projection is definitely a thing, but it's not so much of a thing that it has its own saying. You know what I mean? It's not like every single time somebody is calling this guy a diddler, it's like goes right back to them. That's what he's making it seem like, and he says it with such confidence too, as if that's like something that people go around and say. Shit, maybe it is a saying. I have no idea, but if it is, it just doesn't make a lot of fucking sense and it's factually wrong, especially in his case. Like, all this dude does is rage out at comments. That's what he does in the next live stream too. I'm gonna show it to you guys and it's basically the same shit. He just sits there and has to deal with people calling him a predator the whole time, and he gets angry and he tries to like make up all this bullshit and tries to say it's all lies, but in the end he never really comes up with any evidence. He just claims that everybody was lying and that he knows the truth. Like I said earlier, it's all just a bunch of bullshit so he can hang on to people who want to watch him for nostalgia's sake.
I want to add that blue filter again to this other one. Thanks for saying good evening. Hope I'm well. Nice of you. Let's see. Enhance. Nope. Enhance. And lets me change my background. That's cool. More likes can attract viewers. Keep it up. Did I get a haircut? Yeah, I gave it to myself. No, I didn't see a new video about me. I'm sure it's delightful. Because you know how incentivized kindness is these days. What is... Oh, now I'm a pretty lady? I didn't look like me on this other stream. No idea look like me. Why does it look like I'm being scanned by a copier? That's an effect that I, for some reason, like. Someone says, am I wealthy? No, I'm not. I don't know why you said not trying to be mean, but are you wealthy? Like, that's a fine question. I'm not wealthy. I bought my mom a house, then basically lost most everything. Have you considered getting a job at McDonald's? Allegedly, I already got one. Allegedly, I'm a manager at McDonald's. Allegedly. Someone says, fell off LMAO. My question is, have you ever fell on? Ha. I just got my own joke. Have you ever fell on? Put two and two together. Your filter is making you... well, it is what it is. What am I doing on TikTok, Greg? Felt like it. Someone said, uh-oh, you paused, but I'm back now, right? Now no audio. Oh, it's back. You said that all in one thing. I forgot the recent one's name. I've been married over a decade, been with that person. So that's the answer to your question. You're so back. Okay. I thought your videos were good. I think people are just sensitive. Yeah. I mean, people are sensitive about what they want to. This is kind of funny because like people are sensitive about what they want to be sensitive about, right? Like, so if people will say that you're a mean person if you say something mean, but that person will go say mean things to other people because they don't like those people, and they're not mean because it's them. You know what I mean? And then people say take accountability, and it's like, you just said that saying this to someone was mean, but then you went and said it to someone else, but it's different because that person is, in your opinion, lesser than you, and therefore you're simply just a person who's pointing fingers when three are pointing back at you. It's the inevitable circular logic of the internet.
It seems like Onision is going to embrace his lolcow fully. He's just going to start going on TikTok live, reading all the comments and acting as though he's actually doing something to defend himself, when in reality, he just looks pathetic. When anybody confronts this dude or tries to get him to defend himself, he instantly starts going off about how he didn't do anything wrong, but he'll never show the evidence for it. It seems like so far there's two paths for older YouTubers. They either become lolcows or they become beloved. That's the two paths they can take. Nobody is just normal. They're either a Boogie2988 or a PewDiePie. It's pretty clear that Onision is trying to hold on to any sort of relevancy he had left. He's talking about Eugenia Cooney again. He's fucking making videos about like transgenderism. He's just the worst person to be making videos about this shit, because this dude will sit there and try to play the moral high ground even though everybody already knows all the shit that he put these women through and all the shit that he did in his past, right? He's a horrible person. He's the worst kind of person to be trying to make these claims or be trying to explain these serious topics to you, right? It's stupid. And it's not like there's anything wrong with these videos. Most of them are just normal takes, but it's the fact that it's coming from somebody like Onision. He tries to claim that he's like holier than thou. He makes these videos where he's trying to show you why hate is wrong, even though he's a horrible person himself. It's kind of like if Trisha Paytas came out and made a video about race relations, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work out because of her past. It just doesn't make any sense. Even if she was 100% right, people still wouldn't listen to her because these aren't people that you should take serious on these topics considering their past. And I think that there's certain degrees to it, but at a certain point, somebody crosses a threshold to where it's really hard to forgive them because you don't know if by the end of forgiving them, they'll already change their mind and just become a horrible person again. You know what I mean? And it's also the fact that homie was a PDF file and there's no coming back for that. Nobody on the internet is just going to start forgiving him, right? Unless they're also weirdos too. Maybe him and Nova can have like a party together or something like that. I don't know. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you watched all the way to the end, you're the best. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.